Very warm welcome to everybody that's made it out this afternoon, and for those who watch online, a welcome to you as well. I would like to look this week at three criminals and their experiences with Jesus. We are not long now past Easter, when the world remembers the death, burial and resurrection of Jesus in history. And so all the events that we're about to read about happened around about that time in history. Jesus had been falsely arrested and he had been accused of all sorts of things. He was beaten and passed from pillar to post. We break into the situation when Jesus is being interrogated by a Roman governor, a chap called Pilate. We read in Matthew chapter 27 and verse 15, "Now at the feast, the governor was accustomed to release to the crowd any one prisoner whom they wanted. And they had then a notorious prisoner called Barabbas. So when they had gathered, Pilate said to them, 'Whom do you want me to release to you, Barabbas or Jesus, who is called Christ?' For he knew that it was out of envy that they had delivered him up. Besides, while he was sitting on the judgment seat, his wife sent word to him, 'Have nothing to do with this righteous man, for I have suffered much because of him today in a dream.' Now the chief priests and elders persuaded the crowd to ask for Barabbas and destroy Jesus. The governor again said to them, 'Which of these two do you want me to release to you?' And they said, 'Barabbas.' Pilate said to them, 'Then what shall I do with Jesus, who is called Christ?' And they all said, 'Let him be crucified.' And he said, 'Why? What evil has he done?' But they shouted all the more, 'Let him be crucified.' So when Pilate saw that he was gaining nothing, but rather that a riot was beginning, he took water and washed his hands before the crowd, saying, 'I am innocent of this man's blood. See to it yourselves.' And all the people answered, 'His blood be on us and on our children.' Then he released for them Barabbas, and having scourged Jesus, delivered him to be crucified." We'll jump down a little bit to verse 38, where it says, "Then the robbers were crucified with him," that's Jesus, "one on the right hand and one on the left. And those who passed by derided him, saying, wagging their heads, 'You who would destroy the temple and rebuild it in 3 days, save yourself. If you are the Son of God, come down from the cross.' Also the chief priests with the scribes and elders mocked him, saying, 'He saved others, he cannot save himself. He is the King of Israel. Let him come down now from the cross, and we will believe in him. He trusts God, let God deliver him now if he desires him. For he had said, I am the Son of God.' And the robbers who were crucified with him also reviled him in the same way." We can continue this narrative, this event, by turning over to Luke chapter 23 and verse 39. And it says there, "One of the criminals who were hanging railed at him, saying, 'Are you not the Christ? Save yourself and us.' But the other rebuked him, saying, 'Do you not fear God, since you are under the same sentence of condemnation? And we indeed justly, for we are receiving the due reward of our deeds. But this man has done nothing wrong.' And Jesus said to him, 'Remember me when you come into your kingdom.' And he said to him, 'Truly I say to you, today you will be with me in paradise.'" So we have here three criminals, each of whom we can learn a little bit from. First, we'd like to look at the two criminals who are being executed at the same time as Jesus. Notice first that despite the fact that these two criminals were being executed, they still join in the mocking of Jesus. You would think that they would have enough problems of their own to be worried about. But no, the execution of Jesus seems to be the only time that everyone is united. The Jews hated him and mocked him. The Romans, they mocked him. Jesus was and is hated. But why? He's done nothing but good. So why the animosity? I can understand that some people might not believe the claims made by Jesus. But why the loathing that people feel for him? Many people want the Christian culture without the person of Jesus, without the Christ. The problem with that is it's nothing but a hollow shell that will quickly become a disappointment and a curse. Without Christ, the Christian culture is a worthless thing, full of self-righteousness and unearned superiority over others. I'm not interested in teaching you a Christian culture or even church attendance. We here preach Christ and him crucified. Next, I want to draw out the differences between the two men who are being crucified beside Jesus. We know little about their lives, only that they deserved the punishment that they were being given. Even the criminal admitted that. He said, "We indeed justly, for we are receiving the due rewards of our deeds." This guy knew that he deserved to be punished. And that's a big step. I had a conversation online with a guy just recently who did not think he'd done anything bad enough to deserve punishment for it. I would suggest that this is the result of one or both of two misunderstandings. Either he did not appreciate just how perfect God is. Perhaps he thought of God like the Greek and Roman gods, just a more powerful version of humans, with all the same personality flaws that the rest of humanity have. Either that, or he did not appreciate just how terrible his own behavior had been. One could look at the golden rule of love God with everything you have and love your neighbor as much as you love yourself. If we look carefully at our own lives, we would have to concede that we've not done this. We have not put God first, and even that, we have not treated everyone we meet on an equal footing with ourselves. This criminal, though, he knew, and he appreciated that he was guilty and deserving of punishment. But he also recognized that Jesus was different, that he had done nothing wrong. So while one criminal continued with his hatred of Jesus, the other one, he called out to Jesus for mercy. Notice that he did not have any time to do anything for himself. He could not go to Sunday school. No pilgrimage was on the table for this thief. No confession to a priest. No baptism or ritual. No charitable giving or helping out a food bank. Just reliance on Jesus. He called to Jesus, and Jesus responded with hope for his future. In this desperate situation, Jesus could bring joy and hope. He said, "Today you will be with me in paradise." Sometimes it is not until we face the darkness that we see the light. Jesus said that he was the light of the world. So there was two criminals. Both were worthy of and sentenced to death. One asked Jesus for salvation and he got it. The other just continued on the path he had already been on and was lost. Which will we choose? Repentance, Jesus, and all the joy he can bring? Or will you choose death and punishment? I can't make the choice for you. But what of the third criminal? The only one for whom we actually have a name given, Barabbas. Our passage tells us that he was notorious, a real bad dude, and everyone knew it. A real worst of the worst kind of guy. Just like the other two criminals, Barabbas deserved to die. Even Pilate did not think Jesus had done anything wrong. Totally different from Barabbas. Jesus was innocent. Barabbas was guilty. But Jesus died and Barabbas walked free. Is this not a picture of how salvation works for us? We are the guilty ones. We are the ones who have done wrong. Jesus has done nothing wrong, but Jesus took our place. He died the death that we deserved. He faced the punishment that we could not bear. He paid the price that we could not. And we can go free. We can have life. We can be considered innocent because Jesus took our place. Jesus took our sin, and in exchange, he gave us his righteousness. Has there ever been such an uneven trade? We may have been watching the news and seen suggested deals that were perhaps a little bit one-sided. But not that was even close to being as one-sided as this exchange. And yet, this is not the powerful taking advantage of the weak and desperate. God needs nothing from us. Jesus had no reason to come to die in our place. But so great was his love for us, so much did he value our well-being, that he was willing to face the punishment that we deserved, to give us the opportunity to escape from the consequences of our wrongdoing. But we have to be like the criminal on the cross and turn to Jesus and ask him for mercy. Otherwise, we will be lost. So can I plead with you today to make the choice now, before it is too late? The criminal on the cross, he knew his time was short. You don't know whether your life will come to an end now or sometime in the future. So act now.